Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here with another AEW Dynamite review. Of course, we have plenty of other stuff to worry about over the world, but it's that little detour. We got ourselves a bit of escapism, of course, coming here to watch the DST show. And that, of course, comes in, of course, Fighter Fest build up for this summer. Of course, we have big stuff to build up. Of course, the new signee of AEW comes in for Brian Cage against Jon Moxley for build up after Jon Moxley won the that chip. First shot. It's like the Ultimate X. First shot for the world title, other than the X Division title. That was literally the secondary title for TNA. And, of course, Mike Tyson against Chris Jericho. And I feel like they might cancel it depending on the circumstances. That be Cody building up the TNT title after winning it in a 8-man tournament. And defending it for the first time at the main event of Dynamite against Jungle Boy that won a Battle Royal. That involved MJF, Wardlow, Colt Cabana, Luchasaurus, and many other jobbers that I think Billy Gunn was in it. I discussed this in the Battle Royale. Now, of course, we were also going to hear from the Revolt that were interviewing about their actions, helping out the Young Bucks after Butcher and Blade attacked them during their 6-man tag with Matt Hardy. Now, of course, we opened up the show with the returning tag team champions after Stadium Stampede, Hangman Page and Kenny, 6-star, 7-star, 0.5 Omega against Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc, or that guy you saw from Botchamania that got bird shit on his jacket. That was funny. Yeah. If anybody expected this match to be fun, it was fun in certain aspects. Obviously, I'm not the greatest fan. This is just my opinion. I'm not doing this because I listen to many other channels that, of course, are not that big on the fast-paced, repetitive ability of indie wrestling. Me too, because I feel like it gets too repetitive at times. It gets too snarky, too smarky to, get a cheap pop over the fans. I am still drinking Diet Coke, by the way. Yeah, this match was fine. Discus Lariat. I think it was a rollout to Fireman's Carry into a Lariat. They also did a Shooting Star Press. That was Hangman Page. A couple Lariats. They kept butchering where Jimmy Havoc came from. And were complaining about his hair, and then Jim Ross kept trying to, simp over Penelope Ford or being a factor into the match, even though I thought he was always neutral as a commentator, acting a bit pervious. Listen, I would love to have Penelope alone with me, only me. But other than that, he should have had his head in the game. The match ended via roll. I think it ended via roll up off Omega. It did not end with that at all. Last call. It was the last call for Havoc successfully retaining. Yeah, it wasn't Page. And I thought it was Omega and Page picking up the victory via roll up or one winged injury. Yeah, it ended off. It ended off the Lariat. Buckshot Lariat for the win. It was fast-paced. There was Penelope Ford getting called out for, the ref calling her, trying to do the Hurricane Rana that she usually does. Literally just the white Zelina Vega. This time she got caught Hangman Page holding her for a bit too long. Sorry for stumbling there. It feels like I got a brain fart. Yeah. So she got immediately ejected from the match. Kip Sabian left Jimmy Havoc alone at that point until Buckshot Lariat V-Trigger for the win. Really fun match. We had some cool stuff in the apron that I really hate apron moves. You guys already hear my complaints on it. But it was fast-paced. It was fun. Had a decent spot. And commentary was a bit meh. Next up was, of course, Brian Cage and against Shawn Dean. Or another black jobber. Brian Cage hit that Fireman's Carry into a pilo driver. Forearms. Dropkick. Of course, showing his athleticism. And, of course, calling out Moxley yet again over his time intimidating him. You can say whatever you want, just know who I am at the end of the day, that he's the AEW World Champion, and showing, it's basic respect. I feel like it's a bit generic. I'm not expecting high-arcing storylines. This is obviously to show some more legitimacy for the world title, even though Brian Cage only debuted, on Saturday. 2 Saturdays ago, so you expect a bit much more of Brian Cage. He's not that big on the promo department, but if we get him in a bigger storyline, he wouldn't be needing Taz, except his signature catchphrase that is badass, but only if Taz is wrestling. Sadly, Taz hasn't wrestled since 2001. So him using his signature catchphrase to, of course, hype up the danger of Brian Cage. We obviously had Shawn Spears getting a bit of a talk with Tully Blanchard over, losing to Cody twice, failing in just the first round of the TNT tournament, getting snuffed off Dustin Rhodes just in your suit, and his face was on his dick. So, yeah, Shawn Spears hasn't been doing well at all. They've been trying to, go over Tully, obviously not wanting his client to fail. So, we gave him a glove. Of course, to probably hype up the Mandible Claw, and I think it's necessary now because Eric Rowan doesn't do it anymore. I haven't seen him on SmackDown or Raw for a long time. So it ended up with Tully coming to the limo, so this is a missing piece of the puzzle to get success. So probably they're going to have him face off against Cody in the near future, that he's probably going to lose, because I don't know what the hell they're doing for Shawn Spears or something. So, next up would be Colt Cabana versus Chris Jericho, one of my favorite matches, and highly remarked as one of Colt Cabana's best performances, because the last time he was unsuccessful in the tournament in the second round against Lance Archer, and now here he is facing off against Chris Jericho, and the only reason they're fighting is because Colt Cabana was one of the people that held Jericho off when they started fighting, when Mike Tyson and Jericho started fighting in the middle of the ring. And then they blew it off backstage with Jericho just calling out Jake Hager. There was also a segment with the private party, but I'll bring that up later. Yeah, this match was fun. A miss out to a lion salt. There was just runoff split that he double hooks the legs so he can lift them up so he doesn't have to use his arms. But Jericho switched it into Walls of Jericho. Reverse elbow, bionic elbow, strike over to the forehead. It was a fun match until when Colt Cabana was trying to go for some kind of aerial assault move, immediately stopped on his track with Judas Effect. Fun, fast-paced match for middle-aged men. I don't think Colt is that old. I think he's only a couple of years younger than Jericho, even though Jericho was pushing 50s at this point of his career, but still one of the most watched guys on the wrestling scene to this day. And that's a lot speaking for much, since he's currently the first and the longest reigning AEW World's Heavyweight Champion at this point. Until Moxley holding it for a bit longer, but that's besides the point. Yeah. This was a fun match. Probably my favorite match of the night after Jericho beat Pineapple Pete. Then there was Orange Cassidy coming up, disrupting the victory of Jericho, and he had a couple of swing and misses with Guevara, well, probably just Hager and Jericho, until saved by the best friends, literally just moving out nonchalantly. And then we had Colt Cabana took him backstage to, of course, be persuaded again, because he was persuaded by some kind of dude with a beard back at the Battle Royale to join the Dark Order after getting eliminated, I think. And then he comes around yet again with the guy giving him a water and Brody Lee convincing him to join the Dark Order. Why haven't they convinced Shawn Spears to join the Dark Order? I'm not just saying that because he's a job. I'm saying that because he's a jobber. I don't know what else you thought I was going to... You think I was going to be nice to Shawn Spears? Yo, crazy. Just me. So we had some fun matches so far. Next up, we take a bit of a road stop with, of course, Big Swole facing off against Nyla Rose. Well, I thought they were going to do Britt Baker versus Big Swole because disrespected husband. These guys were talking shit. But that was when they were having a crowd. So Nyla Rose against Big Swole. We also had a vignette of Britt Baker, training while still in a fucking wheelchair. I guess that was funny. The only funnier part was Tony Schiavone was there cheering her on as soon as she hit the steps. Or the ramp, per se, because she's on a wheelchair, I'm sorry, I can't stand cripple jokes in this channel. I really can't. I really don't. It's bad. It's truly terrible. We don't disrespect the disabled in the DST show. We do not. This match did end with, of course, Nyla still getting pulled up strong. That's pretty much it. I think it ended off some kind of fireman's carry. Dirty Dancing. It was a sit down spine buster for the win after Britt Baker that looked like the Yellow Ranger. That was literally the best part. She did a Meteora. She kept doing kicks. It looked like she was getting some advantages. Hikaru Shido, that is the current women's champion at the point of this show. So, that's a positive. That's pretty much it. A decent match. Well, it was obvious that they were going to do this build-up into Nyla Rose getting the bigger advantage. Big Swole tried her best, though. The only positive of the show, though, of the match was literally just that she looked like the Yellow Ranger. Anything else, the match was a pretty decent finish, even though I thought the spin-out powerbomb was her thing, not the spine buster. Next up was Tony Schiavone's interview with the Revolt, or FTR, or in Tony's word, fuck the revival. I mean, love the revival. I mean, the Revolt. Or they try to treat it like a lifestyle other than a basic meme on AEW and being the elite fans. So, yeah. I guess this is a decent save. Obviously, they're going to be there for taking names, to have good matches, generic shit that obviously why the Revival weren't as big in WWE, even though they were a decorated tag team next to the New Day. Even though they were the equivalent of the, prestige titles they gave the OC. So, oh god, Chad Gable and Robert Roode hold those belts, man. And less I say about that, the better. Average promo ended up with somehow, yet again, the Butcher and Blade dressed in white, coming around calling them big shots because, of course, they blindsided them with a surprise attack after thinking that they were going to help out with them beating up the Young Bucks. So it looks like they challenged their debut match, their first ever match on Dynamite next week on, their next week on Dynamite. You'll see the Revolt, or the Revival, back in action. With Tony Schiavone, obviously, saying, fuck the Revival to get the meme out the way. And saying it's just for business. Traditional team, the only big fan. Like, I'm serious, the only big fan. Like, we know that they're traditional, good, retrofied, fast-paced, smooth tag team. I'm not going to disrespect the Revival like that. I think they lack any other personality other than their traditional team. If they had more likability, or I wish like other teams were like Beer Money, like they had their own central personalities, but they're always on the same page. Something like that would be cool. But now we have goddamn Revolt that are just the Brainbusters in 2020. They're not a bad team. I will never say that. And the interview was pretty cool. With at least they're getting a feud that makes sense, other than random tag teams and just random feuds because they're holding the titles. It's bigger, and it actually makes the tag team division feels legit, unlike Raw and SmackDown. They already have like a roster of 50 in total, and they just sweep it up to 25. And thanks to them, it's 15 each. And of course, we have our main event of the evening. No Bill Buffer included, sadly. That means they will be fully WCW. I don't know how old is he at this point. TNT Championship is on the line. Cody against Jungle Boy for the AEW TNT title. For the first time since winning it back at the finals of Double or Nothing, beating Lance Archer. Lance Archer was on, well, he wasn't technically on Dynamite. He was like in some kind of nearby construction site, beating the shit out of a dude and tossing him into the... He was wearing a mask. He was somewhere involved in the Jericho and Tyson fight, and it ended up with him getting chucked and beaten the shit out of by Lance Archer, saying that everybody dies, and nothing about the TNT title loss changes how he is. So that's a positive. You know, always keep the optimism, man. Believe in yourself. And then if you lose again, you kill yourself. That's my dream. The match was fun. Of course, to try to make this feel more legit, of course, Cody blades. I don't have a problem with it. It's just every other match I see Cody in that's going to be, difficult. He blades. MJF came having some short words to say to Jungle Boy after a headbutt into the wall while Jungle Boy was cornered. Yes, Cody's first strategy of getting a man cornered is not kicking him, not punching him, not trying to do some combos on him, or DVT him, or chuck him for the wall. He headbutted him, and he missed. Not smartly, busting open and gushing of blood. Then, as soon as they hit back up into the ring, just spiking him with shots on the exposed cut of Cody. There was a Cody cutter. They opened up early with a finger four leg lock, a snap power slam. I think there was also a stinger death lock. Anything that Cody think that he can get himself over while there's no crowd. Jungle Boy played exceptionally well as the underdog babyface, especially facing off against another babyface that always bills for work rate matches. And I'm using quotations quietly because, you can't see me do it. And my ugly. There's benefit in life. There's always a benefit in life. Match ended in probably the most devastating crossroads I've seen in a long time. Really devastating crossroads. It got his legs flapping around the ring. Pop-up kicks, there was bicycle kicks, a dangerous super kick off Cody. Superplex that got the near fall. It is always going to get the near fall. If you think a fucking superplex is ever going to get the 3 count, it's probably going to be against a jobber or some person superplexing a big fat dude in a mid-card match. That's never going to, in a main event, that's never going to get a 3 count. It's only going to be in a cheap way for a height spot that's not even that high stakes. And I wish if it was working on the back, probably it would be better. But the only thing in danger was Jungle Boy taking advantage of the exposed head. I just wish there was more smart strategies going around. I thought MJF was probably going to play a factor because he was pretty much a perennial favorite of the TNT title. Just make these storylines humble along. Yes, MJF and Wardlow were there, and they were celebrating with champagne, even though he lost in the Battle Royale. So that's something to at least be, for AEW's continuity's sake. Yeah, pretty good main event. All of the Natural Nightmares and the Nightmare family was there, with, of course, QT Marshall with his girlfriend, Dustin Rhodes, that didn't have a match. He was on Dark, I think, and Brandy, of course, there. Did anybody remember she had a faction with Mel and Awesome Kong? I don't even know if Awesome Kong is still in the company. I think she's on some kind of part-time contract or something, even though there's no indie shows for her to work on. But I think she's just there as a family. A mom. Do you think? Other than that, the show gets a 6. Wrestling was fine. The hype up for the match for next week. AEW, I'll give it this. Their transitions into interviews, into promo, into the match, spot on. I like that for logical sake, and I like that for at least pacing. That's what some shows to me lack, which is go to an awkward interview in the ring. And they'll schedule the interview. They won't be just as soon as you lost, your biggest match of your career, you get an awkward interview that doesn't sell any point of, getting the wrestler over or sympathy, it's pretty weak to me. I like AEW's transitional feel. And it's like WCW-esque, and it's more consumable in that aspect. Do I hope next week's episode of Dynamite is going to be better? Hopefully. This one didn't hit the previous episodes during this situation that we have right now hit. And that's probably just off surprise appearances of bigger high spots. And obviously to play it safe. I think that's my opinion on the matter. Either way, it's building up to big pay-per-view matches that are, in preparation. I don't know what the hell they're going to do for MJF. I really hope he faces off against Cody and beats him on 2 pay-per-views in a row. Because he beat him back at Revolution. He could probably get him at Fyter Fest. That's just one of my only 3 matches per se I would like to watch on if they do it on Dynamite or they do it on Fyter Fest. So, please, give MJF the push. I will slap somebody if they don't. So, that's it coming from the DST show. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like the review or you like the show. If you have different opinions or your views on it, please, I would love to read your comments. That's it coming from the DST show. Always here for you guys. Thanks for watching.